This is Molly Hemingway, encouraging you to listen to my favorite podcast, Issues, Etc. Every day you get in-depth interviews with host Todd Wilkin asking expert guests substantive, thought-provoking questions on all of the important news and issues of our day. The expert guests are in culture, law, ethics, philosophy, theology, and apologetics. Expert guests, expansive topics, always extolling Christ. Issues, etc.
Pro-life incumbents have done very well since Dobbs. Not one pro-life incumbent has lost a statewide race.
Margaret Thatcher very famously said, socialism works great until you run out of other people's money. In the Islamic system, the system works great until you run out of the infidels' money.
I love this quotation from Luther. He says, "Spare me from a church in which there are no sinners." The essential character of being a Christian is to be a redeemed sinner.
If we are Christians and we suffer, is that so unbelievable that we should bear a splinter of Jesus' cross after he has gone through so much as a perfect one?
Hospice nurses driving around from patient to patient love listening to Issues, etc.
Well, it has been 4 years since the decision, now known simply as Dobbs, came down from the U.S. Supreme Court. The decision, of course, had been leaked some months before, but the official decision came down overturning Roe v. Wade. How has the pro-life community, which was predicted at the time to wither and die, how has it fared post-Dobbs? Greetings and welcome to Issues, Etc. I'm Todd Wilkin. Thanks for tuning us in live on this Thursday afternoon, the 25th of June. We'll be talking with Carol Tobias, president of National Right for Life, about the 4th anniversary of the Dobbs decision. We'll go through listener email and the Issues, Etc. comment line. Then in hour 2, an Issues, Etc. encore. We'll look forward to Sunday morning, according to the one-year lectionary, talk with Pastor David Peterson about a tree and its fruit, and I Never Knew You in Matthew chapter 7. Carol Tobias is president of National Right to Life. Carol, welcome back.
Thanks, Todd.
How would you respond to the assertion that Dobbs set back the pro-life movement by activating pro-abortion advocates?
Well, abortion advocates, activists have certainly been aggressive in fighting back. After almost 50 years of Roe, I'm not sure they believed that decision would ever be in danger, so I'm sure it was a shock to them when Dobbs came down. But their activism doesn't mean Dobbs was a bad decision. It just means that we have to continue our efforts to change hearts and minds in the American public.
Why was Roe bad law from the beginning?
Roe v. Wade said that abortion was a constitutional right. That was a black mark, a stain on a country that was created to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What it did was take decision-making out of the hands of the people, out of our elected representatives, and it created a false constitutional right to kill preborn babies. Dobbs' decision removed that mirage. Many states have gone in the wrong direction, unfortunately, when it comes to abortion, but many states are protecting babies. So Roe was bad. Dobbs has helped us make a correction, but we still have a long way to go.
What myths still persist about Roe?
I think the biggest one is that under Roe, abortion was safe. The abortion industry takes every opportunity to point out or to exaggerate, to lie about women who have had problems with abortion since Dobbs. And I think that's the biggest thing, that they're claiming abortion was safe, and it wasn't.
While Roe still held sway, what other bad laws did it allow to take root?
Well, Roe gave the country the chance, or I guess it kind of led to this general attitude that human beings are expendable. If you're little and unseen, the baby inside the womb, you're expendable. If someone is pregnant and doesn't want a baby, get an abortion. The baby's going to be a burden. If the baby is going to have some disability or some condition that someone would consider a burden, do away with it. Try again. And we saw, I think, coming very much from that was the whole assisted suicide push, that if someone has an illness or a disease, it's easy to just end your life, let it all be over. And I think overall what Roe did was just lead to a devaluing of God's precious gift of life.
What finally undid Roe?
Well, to reverse Roe, we needed a Supreme Court that respects life and the Constitution. So we worked very diligently for most of those 50 years to elect a president who would nominate good judicial people, and then worked hard to elect senators who would confirm those appointments. It was a steady, nonstop effort, and finally everything came together at the right time, and we got a court that got a decision that I believe was, even though it's difficult, is still favorable to life.
Have any of these predictions of women dying seeking back alley abortions, have any of that come true?
No. There have been a couple of cases around the country of women who did die, and the abortion industry and the media did everything they could to say it was because of state laws, pro-life laws, that would have protected the baby. But these were actual cases where the woman used the chemical abortion method, mifepristone and misoprostol, but the abortion did not complete. So products of that baby remained inside the uterus. The women developed sepsis, severe infection, and they died. Unfortunately, one of them was even in the hospital, and the doctors didn't know what to do. They kept saying, because of the state law, we can't save this woman because then we're going to be found guilty of violating state law. That, of course, was ridiculous. The baby had already died. There was nothing they could have done except try to save the life of the mother. That was medical malpractice, medical incompetence. It was not the actual abortion. So no, women are not dying from illegal back alley abortions.
So talk a little bit more about how chemical abortion is the true back alley abortion, and it's actively promoted by abortion advocates.
I think when you talk about a back alley abortion, you're thinking of something that is illegal. But what I'm seeing now as the current similar situation are where abortion pills are being mailed into homes so that women are getting those pills. They don't know what their medical conditions are because they don't have to see a doctor. They don't have to confirm the age of the unborn child. We have certainly heard the stories about men ordering the pills online, giving them to a girlfriend who is pregnant because he doesn't want to be a dad at this time. Unfortunately, there are cases of women ordering them and giving them to their pregnant daughters, with the daughters not even knowing, because they think the abortion is the best solution for their daughter. The fact that these pills can just be mailed indiscriminately to anyone is, I think, the current back alley view of what's happening now.
There are many who want to have Roe reinstated via legislation and state constitutional amendments. Tell us about those.
Well, unfortunately, several states in the past couple of years have had votes where they changed the law and said instead of protecting unborn children, we're going to protect abortion. We do have some of those on the ballot again this year. Virginia would have no limits whatsoever on abortion. That will be voted on by the people in November. Nevada has a process where in order to amend the Constitution, you have to have 2 votes of the people. So 2 years ago, the voters there did approve allowing abortion up to 24 weeks, but that measure has to pass again this year in order to become effective. So that would be another one of changing their laws. Missouri actually in 24 came very close to defeating an effort to put abortion into their state law. So their ballot measure this year is going to be overturning, a vote to overturn what the voters did 2 years ago. And we certainly hope that will be successful, that Missouri voters will decide it is time again to protect unborn children instead of the abortionists. And then Idaho has a measure that's currently in the works that would allow abortion up to 12 weeks, but that has not been confirmed yet, that they don't know if there have been enough signatures collected. So we don't have as many ballot measures this year, but there are still some.
What grade would you give to the Trump administration, his 2 administrations, on protecting the unborn?
Well, in the first term, I think he did a very good job, gave the pro-life movement probably more than we had even hoped or expected. including justices on the Supreme Court that eventually overturned Roe. And again, that's an ongoing battle, but at least we have an opportunity to protect children. And there are 17 states now that do have good laws protecting those babies. This term, I would say, not quite as good. We are certainly upset that the Biden administration changed the laws through the Food and Drug Administration so that abortion pills could be mailed into homes, into any state, regardless of what the state law is. So we are asking the Trump administration to go back at least to the point where a woman has to see a doctor to get the pills. Basically, it's also a safety check. How far along is she? Are the pills going to be effective? Then she would have to come back and get another review to make sure that everything went fine with the abortion so that she isn't carrying retained products leading to infection, sepsis, possibly death. So we really do need the current FDA to pull the drug back and at least make sure that the woman has to have an in-person visit with a doctor. That still makes it legal, keeps it legal. We don't like it, but that's certainly much better than the thousands or perhaps millions of pills being mailed around the country right now.
How do you explain the current Trump administration's inactivity when it comes to those FDA regulations on the abortion pill?
Well, I don't know that it's true. I mean, certainly the stories are out there that he didn't want to do anything before the election this fall because he was concerned about the results. That's a two-edged sword. Yes, if they pull it back, the abortion side is going to be very angry, and they're probably motivated to elect their candidates. But pro-lifers are, at this point, very discouraged that it's happening. And if they don't get out and vote because they are upset with the administration, we'll have a lot of pro-abortion Democrats in Congress making all those laws. So it's very nerve-wracking, actually, for me. I want those pills off the market, but I want people to be voting right. And I think the administration just isn't sure which side is more powerful right now.
What work still remains undone after the overturn of Roe v. Wade 4 years ago?
We have to get to the American public and just convince them that, I mean, this is an ongoing battle, but we have to convince the American public that doing all these crazy laws, abortion for all 9 months, mailing pills so that anybody can get them, is not safe, it's not healthy, and we just need to get back to placing an unlimited value on human life. I think one of our best efforts right now is just talking about how we need to love them both, mom and child. That does very well, basically in polling. So we're going to be pushing that, love them both, and get people to understand that mom and baby do not have to be competing against each other. Both can survive.
Carol Tobias is president of National Right to Life. For information on National Right to Life, visit the podcast page for this episode at issuesetc.org. Carol, thanks.
Thank you so much.
We will respond to your email and the Issues Etc. comment line next.
The church's music from the 2nd century.
Shepherd of tender youth, guiding in love and truth.
The 6th century. The 12th century. The 16th century. The 21st century. The best of the church's music from the past 2,000 years. LutheranPublicRadio.org.
Where Christianity meets culture, you're listening to Issues Etc.
The Lutheran Church Missouri Synod's Life Ministry cares for pregnant women sharing the love of Christ. Listen to Pastor Ed DeWitt with Redeeming Life Outreach Ministries.
One of the first residents we had said to me, "Pastor, why do you do this?" And I said, "Just stick with me through this class, and when we're done, you'll understand completely." Many of the women, as they go through the instruction, when we get to that part about baptism, they're like, "Pastor, I want that for my baby. I want my baby to be adopted into God's family."
God's Mission Here, lcms.org/national mission.
Criticism.
Thank God that it's 5:01 and the show is over.
Commendation.
I am not a Lutheran, but I regularly listen to Issues, etc., and thank you for putting this on the air.
Conundrum.
A Catholic friend has come to our LCMS church, and he said, "Why do you say very God, a very God?" And I couldn't think of a good answer.
The Issues, etc. comment line, 618-223-8382.